run through the tape. In life, never give up, run through the tape.
And Kristaps Porzingis speaks Russian, Spanish, Latvian, and English.
Well, listen,
Charles speaks English.
Well, Shaq speaks a bunch of languages. English, mumbles, hood rat.
Lashing out.
That's just a snippet of Charles Barkley working the first half of this game. You got somebody sticking up for you. Jasmine sticking up for you there.
Thank you, Jazzy Wazzy.
This is the American Express halftime report. Ernie Johnson, Shaq Kenny. Isaiah Thomas sitting in for Charles Barkley, who's working with C. Webb and Marv.
Charles can
Aldridge.
only speak one language because all the other times he got food in his mouth.
There you go. There's the response. Fired by Shaquille O'Neal.
Shots fired.
46-39, Sacramento with the lead over the Knicks. Turnovers have been the story of the first half. New York has turned it over 12 times, leading to 15 Sacramento points. Kings have only turned it over 3 times for 2 New York points in a 7-point game. We talked about Demarcus Cousins and Rajon Rondo. We want to break them both down here at halftime. And tell me what you're seeing out of Rondo.
Well, it's funny because he interviewed him and he said, we can be great. But what makes Rondo great when he is playing and when they won championship with Boston is, oh my gosh.
You know, I thought Isaiah might actually race you to the board.
I thought he would too. I thought he
I'm
would
going to
too.
run because the great Isaiah is here.
No,
He blocked me in. He got me blocked in.
I got you
Showing him
blocked
respect.
in, for sure. But as we let the play run, it's not that Rondo, does everything on the court, but what he does for any team that he's on is he creates a tempo and a pace to play at. So once you get the ball, if you freeze it here, Rondo everyone knows. If you look at Rudy Gay, you look at McLemore, you look at their positions, they're in run position because they know this guy will look ahead and pitch ahead. But somebody's already beat him to it. And now they say, Gaspy's down and says, I'm going to get the easy one. Rondo always creates the pace of the game. Again, freeze it again. This is about 22 seconds on the clock, and when he creates his space, when he's possibly a top 3 point guard, when he was a top 3, it's because of this. But not only that he create the pace, because he hit jump shots, and when he hits his jump shot, he separates the defense, he makes things easier. But Rondo, his ability to create pace is in the same vein as Steph Curry, which is now, or Steve Nash, years ago. Guys that no matter when you play against them, you have to play the same pace that they play at. You can't stop them from doing it.
Top 10 assist games in the league so far this year. 6 of them belong to Rondo, including the season high of 20. And this from a guy where it just didn't work in Dallas a year ago, Isaiah.
Yeah, and the reason why is you look at George Karl as a coach, and, he comes from the North Carolina Dean Smith family in terms of passing game, free-flowing. Carlisle is more of a play caller. He calls every play. So Rondo he's a painter. He's like a Da Vinci out on the floor. So he needs to be creative. He needs to be artistic out on the floor where he can make plays like Kenny just described. But if you're asking Rondo to catch the basketball, dribble it up, and call play 22, he's not as effective. But if you're asking Rondo to paint, be creative, and be artistic out on the floor, then he's special.
He's the only guy in double figures tonight with 10. Cousins has 9 in the first half.
Yeah, Cousins has 9. There's much debate on who's the best big man in the league. I think it's Demarcus Cousins. Has a lot of
the best. Wow.
Yeah, the best.
That's what his old teammate, the other Isaiah Thomas, said the other night. Best big man in the world, no doubt.
Right here, he faces up, and you know what? This is barbecue chicken with a lot of feathers on it. He just goes to work right there. Easy money. They just have to learn, DeMarcus has to learn how to translate big games like this into winning. Once he does that, then that will solidify his position as the best big man. But skill-wise, he's definitely the best big man playing like that. That one right there was for Barkley.
Yeah.
That dunk right there was for Chuck. But yeah, he's the best. Kenny, Kenny, I heard you snuckle over there. Who you think the best center is?
No, I would say the reason I would
snuckle.
Snuckle is
I'm not
and
sure.
a chuckle at the same time.
You're too quick. You are quick.
And a
You
chuckle.
are quick.
My snuckle is not because he's not a great player.
Kenny,
To
who's
me,
the
to
best
be
big
considered to be considered the best at anything is that you have to have an effect on the game that makes your team win. I'm not sure if that always happens. So I can't consider a lot of guys the best because their value or their numbers don't always translate to winning. So when you say who's the best point guard, I can start pointing to guys and say, oh, this guy could possibly be he. But when you talk to the big guys, I think he's in the same boat as the rest of these guys with Blake Griffin and the rest of them.
Still answer the question.
They don't.
Give me a name.
There is none because none of these guys have translated into winning those numbers. So I can't give it to them.
Hope that halftime segment gave you a snuckle at home.
Can't
Back
give
with
it to
more on the American Express halftime report in just a moment.
Welcome to the American Express halftime report, brought to you by the Premier Rewards Gold Card from American Express.
Game one of our double dip as we bring you the American Express halftime report highlights. Blake Griffin, flagrant 2, ejected with the Clippers trailing 57-43 as he hits Taj Gibson. But without Griffin, the Clippers actually would tie the game in the fourth quarter. Derrick Rose had 9 of his 11 in the fourth, having taken the mask off at halftime. Chris Paul had a chance, though, with the score 83-80, and it won't fall. And the Chicago Bulls, winners over the Clippers 83-80. They're 12-8, snapped their 3-game losing streak, and snapped the Clippers' 3-game winning streak. Oh, check on the shelf. Yeah.
Barkley above the rim. You ain't been that high in 30 years.